Professional sports offer notoriously high-paying salaries. Though they are extremely competitive, if you make it pro in a major sport, you should be financially solvent for life. But athletes are also infamous for big spending. When this happens, they often end up broke and in need of a new job. Today, we're looking at 10 once great athletes who now work regular jobs. Ben Baker was a promising Hartford graduate who went on to play for several NBA teams, including the Milwaukee Bucks, the Seattle Supersonics, and the New York Knicks. But Baker struggled with alcohol and drug use, and even admitted to playing several games under the influence of drugs. That didn't go entirely unnoticed. Sometimes Baker's teammates could smell alcohol on him in practice, but management saw only his upside. In 1999, Seattle signed Baker to a contract worth $86 million over 7 years. But 3 years later, Seattle dealt Baker to Boston, where he underwent a physical. The doctor employed by the Celtics found signs of liver damage associated with alcoholism. From here, things only deteriorated for Baker. He lost more than $100 million through financial mismanagement and found himself in need of a steady job. That's where Starbucks came in. He wasn't making nearly as much as he did in the NBA, but he had health insurance through his new employer and a steady paycheck. In this company, there are opportunities for everyone. I have an excellent situation here at Starbucks, and the people are wonderful, Baker says. Hoop fans might shake their heads and view Baker's life as a tragic fall from grace. Baker doesn't see it that way. He says his story is one of redemption, of conquering demons, and searching for success in the next phase of life. When you learn lessons in life, no matter what level you're at financially, the important part is to realize it could happen, he said. I was an alcoholic. I lost a fortune. I had a great talent and lost it. I have to take the story and show that you can bounce back. If I use my notoriety in the right way, most people will appreciate that this guy is just trying to bounce back in his life. Adrian Dantley came from basketball powerhouse DeMatha High School in suburban Washington and then attended Notre Dame. As a sophomore and junior, he was a first-team All-American in college. After playing on the 1976 gold medal-winning team, he declared himself eligible for the NBA draft. Dantley started out his NBA career with Buffalo, but has since played for Indiana, Los Angeles, and Utah. He has been one of the stars of the league, making the All-Rookie team in 1977, as well as being named Rookie of the Year. His best year to date has been 1981, when he was an NBA All-Star second-team selection, as well as leading the league in scoring. After leaving the NBA, Dantley decided he wanted to give back to his community and became a crossing guard. Living in Maryland, he made just $14,000 a year, far less than he made in a single game in the NBA. It's not because he's broke either. According to a sports site, Deadspin, he wanted the medical benefits. Dantley still lives in the home he purchased for $1.1 million in 1990 and is known for being a penny pincher. From modest beginnings as a rural Louisiana farm boy, raised by a single mother in a family of 9 children, KARL Malone rose to become one of the greatest NBA players of all time, and debatably the best power forward ever. He's officially recognized as one of the 25 greatest players in NBA history, twice named the NBA's most valuable player. Along with 2 gold medals for USA Basketball, KARL finished his playing career as the only player in history to score 2,000 points or more in 10 consecutive seasons. He's the second highest leading scorer behind Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. After leaving the NBA, he moved back to his native Louisiana and started to live more frugally. He was a commentator on ESPN and seemed to manage his assets responsibly, but he has been known to haul lumber for a small fee. He owns a few thousand acres of Louisiana timberland property, which he continues to acquire. He harvests trees on the property. He also owns the oil, gas, and mineral rights. He loves trucking, says one associate. That's his way to do something he loves. He's in the truck by himself. It gives him time to think. DEUCE McAllister is the only player in the history of Ole Miss football to record 3 seasons with at least 1,000 all-purpose yards. In April 2001, McAllister was the 23rd overall pick by the New Orleans Saints. He went on to rush for over 1,000 yards in 3 straight seasons, a first in Saints history. He was the first Saints running back with 22 100-yard games, including a franchise record 9 straight contests in 2003. In his first year as a starter in 2002, he led the conference with 1,388 rushing yards, scored 16 touchdowns, and was voted to the Pro Bowl. But after amassing a huge fortune in the NFL, McAllister opened an ill-fated car dealership and made a series of mad investments to the tune of $70 million. To get back on his feet, McAllister was forced to take up a side job as a motivational speaker. In case you're interested, McAllister is available to come to private events and business meetings in order to boost morale. Charging between $5,000 and $10,000 per event, he's making a decent income, but not nearly enough to make up for his mismanaged investments. Randall David Johnson, nicknamed the Big Unit, is an American former professional baseball pitcher who played 22 seasons in Major League Baseball from 1988 to 2009 for 6 teams. He played primarily for the Seattle Mariners and Arizona Diamondbacks. His 303 career victories rank as the 5th most by a left-hander in MLB history, while his 4,875 strikeouts place him second all-time behind Nolan Ryan and are the most by a left-hander. He holds 5 of the 7 highest single-season strikeout totals by a left-hander in modern history. With a net worth of $115 million, Johnson is doing just fine for himself, but he is using his free time to pursue a longtime passion: photography. His website is plastered with high-definition photos of travel destinations and concerts. In his own words, "I attended USC for 3 years on a baseball scholarship and majored in photojournalism while studying the art and craft of photography, shooting for the college newspaper The Daily Trojan and a small rock and roll magazine in LA. It's unclear how much money he makes from the side hustle, but it's clear he doesn't need any more cash." Brian Johnson was a baseball player who played with a number of franchises, most famously the San Francisco Giants. A notable moment in Johnson's professional baseball career came on September 18, 1997, when he hit a home run in the bottom of the 12th inning against the Los Angeles Dodgers to move the San Francisco Giants into a tie with the Dodgers for first place. The Giants went on to win the National League West, and from then on, the game would be remembered among Giants and Dodgers fans as the Brian Johnson game. But after leaving the league, Johnson decided to pursue a career in banking. No one knows what precipitated this decision, but the results are clear. Johnson is continuing to make a comfortable income outside of the MLB, meaning that he isn't dependent on commentating, endorsement deals, or any of the other handful of jobs that are available to most former athletes. And according to him, he is passionate about the work. Former Hofstra quarterback Giovanni CARMAZZI was one of the 6 quarterbacks drafted ahead of Tom Brady in 2000, making him one of the Brady 6 featured prominently in ESPN's documentary. ESPN was able to interview 5 of the 6 quarterbacks selected ahead of Brady for their hour-long program, but CARMAZZI, the former third-round pick of the 49ers, declined the interview. Some people believe that ESPN was extremely off-put by his unwillingness to participate, so they led a smear campaign against him, though the information they provided is mostly endearing. Apparently, CARMAZZI bought a property 2 hours north of San Francisco, where he raises goats and practices yoga. If this was ESPN's attempt to discredit CARMAZZI, they did a pretty poor job, as many people living in cities pine for a more pastoral lifestyle. He's also restoring an old farmhouse in Roseville, California, and is assisting in the development of an online software program for physicians called SmartMed Technologies. Shandon Anderson was a professional basketball player in the NBA from 1996 until 2006. He only started in 1 game and didn't see much action, but he still contributed to numerous teams within the league. He played for 4 teams after being drafted by the Utah Jazz in 1996: the Jazz, Houston Rockets, New York Knicks, and Miami Heat. He played the shooting guard and small forward positions. His best season was in 1999, when he averaged 12.3 points per game with the Rockets. His career average is 7.8 points per game. Anderson won an NBA championship in 2006 with the Miami Heat as a backup, and subsequently retired. But that's when things really started heating up for Anderson, literally. He has been a vegetarian for more than 20 years, and he soon began pursuing his other passion of being a chef. Anderson attended the Living Light Culinary Institute in Fort Bragg, California in 2010, and from 2012 to 2013, he also attended the Natural Gourmet Institute in New York. A lover of art and food, Anderson wanted a way to combine the two, and the vision of Drink Art was created. Making sure that his dishes remained true to his vegan taste and gave that artistic presence, Anderson hired a series of renowned vegan cooks for his restaurant. "I needed a change. I told myself that my last year in the NBA was to win a championship, and after I did that, I knew it was time to try something new," Anderson said of his new business. Kendall Simmons was an offensive guard who played with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the early 2000s. Simmons started the first 2 years of his career. After being hurt all of 2004, he came back in 2005 and started all 20 games and won Super Bowl 40 with the Steelers. Simmons experienced an off-the-field injury during the 2006 NFL season. While rehabbing a heel injury, Simmons suffered a frostbite-like burn to his left foot after he fell asleep with a cooling device attached to it. Simmons was undeniably a good player, but he was plagued by injuries and retired early. He also struggled with type 1 diabetes. Drawing on those experiences, Mr. Simmons, with his wife Celesta and their 4 children in Auburn, Alabama, has served 5 years as a paid national patient ambassador for Novo Nordisk, the Danish pharmaceutical company that produces insulin and other products to manage the disease. In 2016, he made more than 25 appearances for Novo Nordisk at diabetes camps, health fairs, children's hospitals, and other events. He discusses his experience in managing diabetes successfully, with the theme that whether you are a football player or a bricklayer, good diabetes management practices are necessary for a healthy existence. Vince Young is a former American football quarterback. Young played in the NFL for 6 seasons. In 2009, Young earned his second Pro Bowl selection and was named Sporting News NFL Comeback Player of the Year. But the comeback was short-lived, and after making $25 million in the NFL, he lost it all and filed for bankruptcy. But then he got a job at the University of Texas as a development officer. He allegedly made $100,000 a year, which is a lot for most people. However, he lost the position after multiple DUIs brought bad press to the university.